Well, joining me now is BARIA Alamaddin, who's the foreign editor of the Al Hayat newspaper here in London. Thanks very much for coming in. Give us a sense of an overview of what you're making of what's happening.
Well, obviously, nobody's backing down. The Muslim Brotherhood are calling for more and more protests. And, of course, it's everybody's right to protest. But I think in this situation, it's a highly volatile situation. I would say it's actually advisable not to. The army also cannot back down, is not backing down. The police are not backing down. Everybody is heavily polarized in their positions. And this doesn't seem for the moment to have an end. Nevertheless, around the Arab world, there have been calls for calm. There have been calls indeed for the Arab League to meet. I don't see it happening at the moment because guess what? The Arab world is actually divided on that. So Egypt is particularly an important Arab country. It is by far the most densely populated. You have about 80 million Egyptians, increasing by the minute. And also it is geographically the biggest country. And it also is the center of life of the Arab world. It has always been. So people in the Arab world, particularly I would say in countries where there is a sizable Muslim Brotherhood party, are watching very closely. We've seen movements in Jordan, in Tunisia, in Turkey, in all that area. And unfortunately, people are following their own party. Nobody's trying to mediate. Nobody's trying to say, come on, let's listen to reason. After all, you are all Egyptians. You have to live together. Nobody's going to throw anybody to the Nile.
And given that the hopes for the Arab Spring, as it were, is that disintegrated now because of this?
I tell you, people are so disappointed. It's amazing. Everybody were also euphoric, you know, to get rid of the likes of Gaddafi and Mubarak and the rest. It's very, very sad to feel and to see that people are actually saying, well, guess what? We wish Mubarak was there because now at least we had bread. And people were not so heavily divided. Don't forget, this is not about religion. Both parties are Muslims, both parties are Sunnis, and it's unfortunate to see the poor Copts being caught in the middle, and there's 10 million of them. I mean, there's a quite sizable also minority, and it's unfortunate that the Muslim Brotherhood have been on the rampage, setting fire to lovely, lovely, beautiful churches. So what they need to do is, I think, some halt of violence has to happen, and hopefully sooner than later. And then people need to realize and sit down and talk. The Muslim Brotherhood is Egyptian. They are part of the Egyptian society. So I think the army and the ruling party should realize that they have to talk to them. Exclusion, like what the Muslim Brotherhood did, will not work.
If we go back to the crux of this, though, the election and then the rejection, as it were, just because a country doesn't like the leader that they've elected, they just can't change their mind like this, surely.
Yes, it's true in many ways. I see your point, and of course, you know, I'm Lebanese, and I know we lived in some sort of democracy before. I don't call it democracy now, but you know, people in the West see things in black and white. Things are not black and white. What is happening in Egypt is really a battle for the hearts and minds of all the Arabs. This is about how much religion you want to play in the politics of the land. This is about the rights of women. This is about the rights of arts. This is about a way of life, a whole way of life. So it's not simple. It is not because people did not want Morsi. Don't forget, Morsi was there for one whole year. And he did not win an amazing majority. I mean, still, it is 51%. And for me, this is democracy, even if it's 50%, you know. But the point here is that the issues today are much larger than we see in the street, and what we are talking here about in the West. It is not really the Muslim Brotherhood versus those people who don't want democracy or who don't respect the democracy and the elections. It's far more than that. It is also, as I said, being watched from outside in every country in the Arab world. Because don't forget, Muslim Brotherhood tried to create problems in the Emirates, they tried to create problems in other parts. So this is a very old party, the Muslim Brotherhood, but their brand of Islam does not agree with many Muslims. And so it is, as I said, really mostly many people who even sympathized with the Muslim Brotherhood and really elected Morsi, who are disenfranchised, and they think this is not what we elected. Morsi, the problem, what he did was he excluded everybody. He came and he said, this is me, I'm the president of all Egypt. Amazing, everybody was happy. The problem is slowly and surely you were seeing the governors were being changed, and Muslim Brotherhood people were being put, the army was changed, the judges were changed, even the constitution was being played around. So people saw it coming. This was not a surprise. You know, when you see about 33 million people around Egypt going against him, this is a sizable majority, I would say.
Okay, thank you very much indeed. BARIA ALAMUDDIN, thank you.